Headlines most affecting Abbotsford this week. Abbotsford Airport setting another record. Mission's mayor is issuing a media challenge. It appears that once again no one wants to operate Operation Red Nose in Abbotsford or Mission. And Chase Claypool heads to Miami. The Abbotsford Soccer Association heads to City Hall. Peter Lang will have more in sports. Our guest this week includes the Abbotsford Mayor, Ross Siemens. Okay, Abbotsford, let's get started. Last week, Mission's Mayor Paul Horn was on the program talking about the future of the BC Highway Patrol in the Valley. The mayor asked us to put out a challenge to other mayors in the Valley, but this would be on a different topic. Now, it's been a year since the municipal elections, so he's game to come on and talk about the year past for respective communities, what the mayors have done, and what the future holds. So, the challenge to the other mayors is out. We look forward to their response. City of Abbotsford announcing that Abbotsford International is on track to have its most successful year in history, poised to welcome some 1.2 million passengers by the end of 2023. Now, Abbotsford International is not the only one of the first airports to fully rebound from the pandemic, but it has surpassed pre-pandemic numbers. The mayor, Ross Siemens, is on the airport board. He will join us in conversation in just a couple of minutes' time to talk about the successes and what the future does hold. Back on October the 4th, Mission Mounties and Mission Fire responded to a report of a structure fire on a property on Gunn Avenue, which is believed to have been vacant. Now, this property does have a history. It was the focus of a 2020 homicide investigation. Now, both Mission Fire and the RCMP say this time it is strictly an arson investigation and the public is not in danger. It is Fire Safety Week, and Mission Fire is holding what they call a Fire Safety Grand Tour. It includes a passport contest to win a Nintendo Switch Lite. So go to Mission Fire's social media for all the information. BC nonprofit organizations in both Mission and Abbotsford are receiving nearly $1.5 million in funding through the Community Services Recovery Fund, including the Fraser Valley Mountain Bikers Association, Sarah for Women, the Mission Hospice Society, the District and Mission Arts Council, and the Mission Association for Community Living. This fund is to assist charities and nonprofits that are recovering from the long-term impacts of the pandemic, and that includes volunteer recruitment as well as training. Picking up complete strangers from a party during the Christmas holiday season feels a little strange at first, but keeping everybody safe on the roads during the holiday season has always been the priority of Operation Red Nose. It's still operating in Chilliwack, pardon the pun, but Abbotsford and Mission remains a concern. Both 2020 and 2021 were canceled because of COVID. Last year, they lost their nonprofit sponsor, and of course, they can't run without one. abbyTV has reached out to see if there will be a 2023 version. Well, the national organizer has said no one's picked up the challenge. Coming up, Abbotsford's Chase Claypool is off to Florida. Abbotsford Soccer is off to City Hall. Peter Lang will have sports. This week continues with the Abbotsford Mayor, Ross Siemens, and we're hoping to have Abbotsford Airport GM Parm Sidhu join us. He can't because of scheduling, but Your Worship, we've had some incredible information come out about Abbotsford Airport. You sit on the board. You might as well tell everybody about the great news and the numbers surrounding Abbotsford Airport.
Yeah, I mean, we're on track for a record-breaking year. We're forecasted for 2023 to have about 1.2 million passengers passing through Abbotsford Airport. So one of the fastest growing airports in the country. I think we're the first one to surpass our pre-COVID pandemic numbers. So really impressed with that. Parm and his team have done a phenomenal job.
Just to put things in perspective for those who are trying to do the comparison, who else is over a million? I mean, obviously there'd be the Vancouvers, the Torontos and that, but say a Regina or a Kamloops, Kelowna, are we at par with them?
Yeah, I think Kelowna is one of the ones that we're close to. We're in the top 10 in the province or in the country. So there's Hamilton, obviously, I think Kitchener-Waterloo. So yeah, and then I believe we're either 9 or 10 this year in the country. So Kelowna is the other one in BC that's up there as well.
You brought up post-COVID, but were there also concerns because there was WestJet and there was the Sunwing situation and other things are happening, Flair. Was there any concern that this number was, for the most part, well, for the time being, unattainable? But now that you've got it, what was the magic elixir? What worked? Was it in marketing? What happened?
Well, obviously, our proximity to the Vancouver, Surrey, our proximity to the Metro Vancouver. But yeah, I mean, we've got an ultra low cost, I think we're the only ultra low cost airport in Canada. So it's very entrepreneurial. Parm has done a tremendous job at marketing. But really the strength is in those numbers, the strength comes from the airline industry. So we know that there's a lot of volatility in the airline industry and it's, yeah, you're competing on a world scale. So the strength of our system is that if we drop in numbers, we still have a very sustainable business model. If we go up in numbers, again, we don't have to increase staff a great deal. We allow the platform to stay the same, and we allow the airline industry to do its job. So we set the table, and then we get out of the way. And so the strength in our airport is obviously in the jobs that are created, and not just from the airline industry, but from the aerospace industry itself. We're strategically located in the largest aerospace hub in the world. That includes Washington State, obviously, with Boeing. But those jobs that places like Cascade and Marshall and Con Air and Chinook Helicopter, Fast Air, those jobs and the leasing of that land, those are what sustains the airport. It makes us the economic engine. So those numbers are great, and those numbers really tell an exciting story. But we know that those numbers could change in a heartbeat. So our platform is open to to growing. Obviously, is what our goal is. But there's a lot of external forces. So the strength of that airport as the economic engine is really in our land and the jobs that we can provide through those lands.
I would assume both, and especially Parm because he's GM, but you sitting on the board as mayor. Do you have to hit the road and do a sales job on the airport, or is it literally starting to sell itself, or is it selling itself?
Yeah, I mean, there's the airlines sell it for us, so it's the business model. So we stay very focused. Parm has been very disciplined as as a business person. Stay to your core values and don't get distracted. And the airlines sell those numbers. The things like the Abbotsford International Air Show, Girls Fly To, those help market the airport. Tourism Abbotsford is a good marketing partner. There's other, when you take a look at our airport board, our airport authority, we have people from Vancouver, we have economists, we have people from the Surrey Board of Trade, we have people from Langley, White Rock, Vancouver that are part of our board. So the message gets out through those avenues as well. So there's a number of things that we do to market, but it really does sell itself. And the city of Abbotsford is, becoming the cultural and economic hub of the Fraser Valley. And so we have a lot of business partners that help sell the airport as well. It's in their best interests.
Any expansion on the horizon right now, or is it you like where you are and you're going to hold steady for maybe a couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, the numbers sort of tell where we're at. We have lots of expansion room. We have expansion plans. And so the airport actually doesn't receive any government funding. We are self-sustaining. I think the only local tax dollars that are in is the $10 that we paid. I think George Ferguson was the mayor at the time, and paid that to the federal government. So there is expansion plans that we have, and we can scale those up if the numbers increase, and we can hold steady. So we're in the driver's seat on that front.
You have the final word, and all I can say is you got to be a proud papa when you start seeing these numbers.
Well, I'm proud of the whole city. I mean, Abbotsford is the cultural and economic hub, but it's also the agriculture capital, and it is the entrepreneurial capital. So a lot of things to be proud of, and I think the airport just sort of articulates who we are as a city, and the ultra low cost business model is very reminiscent of what we try to do here at City Hall too. So we set the stage, and then we get out of the way, let the private sector do what it does best.
Mayor Siemens, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for us telling the story.
And you're watching This Week.
This week in Abbotsford sports. So much for any pipe dream of Abbotsford secondary football product wide receiver Chase Claypool playing in the CFL anytime soon, or for that matter, with the BC Lions. The Miami Dolphins have agreed to terms on a trade with the Chicago Bears for Claypool and a 2025 7th-round pick in exchange for a 6th-round pick, pending a physical. Claypool was a healthy scratch from recent Bears games. The situation was surrounded by rumor and innuendo over his work ethic. Since playing in Abbotsford, Claypool played college at Notre Dame and pro in Pittsburgh and Chicago. The Langley Rams did not have a great long weekend in Victoria. The West Shore Rebels manhandled the Rams 61-7. So the quirk in the schedule is that the Rams have finished the regular season with a record of 5-4. What would have been a 10th game was canceled in the summer with Okanagan due to the wildfires. That game will not be made up. The playoff schedule will be determined after the weekend's games. The Abbotsford Soccer Association has penned an open letter to the City of Abbotsford. The detailed document entitled The Decline of Sports Facilities in Abbotsford, A Cry for Change, cited a number of issues including drug paraphernalia, needles, other sharps, hazards at MRC fields, net vandalism on MRC fields, homeless seeking shelter at MRC fields, microwave oven damaged and disposed of on MRC fields. abbyTV invited the president of the association on the show. They declined, telling us that by going public with this, they have the attention of the city and there is now a dialogue. They will keep us posted on this story. The UFE Cascades women's soccer team dropped a 3-0 decision to the U Sports number 5 ranked Trinity Western University Spartans last Sunday at Rotary Stadium in Abbotsford. The women Cascades finished off their regular season slate on October 13th and 15th. UFE will take on the University of Victoria Vikes on Friday at 7 p.m. and the MRU Cougars on Sunday at 1 p.m. Both games can be streamed live and on demand on Canada West TV. With the men's team, 2 second-half goals, including a winner in stoppage time, gave the Trinity Western Spartans all 3 points last Sunday afternoon at Rotary Stadium. The loss drops the Cascades to 2-10 on the season, while the Spartans improved to 6-2-5 this year. The men now travel to Prince George for a pair of matches against the UNBC Timberwolves. Games are set for October 13th at 7:45 p.m. and October 15th at 2:15 p.m. Both games can also be seen live and on demand on Canada West TV. And after the break, Cari with the weather.
abbyTV weekend weather. So, Cari, will the umbrella be needed this weekend?
Well, Don, yes, it is going to be sunny for Friday, but then it's going to get kind of yucky. Saturday's going to be rainy, Sunday cloudy, but next week some more rain and some cloud. Definitely fall weather. The sad part is this rain on Saturday morning because we will not be able to see the annular eclipse on Saturday, which makes me very sad. But fun fact, an annular eclipse is when the moon is passing between the sun and the earth at its farthest distance from the earth. So it actually doesn't cover up the whole sun. The sun will leave a little halo around the moon, making it look like a little bright spot in the sky. So Dawn, if it does get sunny out, make sure you put the fun glasses on because we don't want you to go blind. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks, Cari, and thank you for watching. If you have a local news story you'd like us to report on, send us a note with pictures and video, please, to news@chilltv.ca. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. I'm Don Lehn.